peacocking is basically where you wear or put something loud on yourself so that in a crowd you stand out.
And the beef culture shows that the kind of impact hip-hop is able to have on people and the amount of people. So there is a hungry crowd.
Kaam Pache Se, when it came out, that summer, being in the clubs and hearing that song, it was like, wow.
Boom shakalaka, it's a beautiful day, as I always say. I'm your personal happiness coach, Clint Varghese, and it's my vision in life to make this world a sustainably happier place to live in. And aligned with that vision, we are on a mission to help you live a happy and motivated life. And we aspire to add value in your life. Either you're out on a run or you're walking your dog, or for that matter, you are on a journey to your destination or cooking your favorite meal in the kitchen. We really want to use this opportunity to bring together some of the finest achievers who will let their hearts out and share with us on what it takes to just rise and shine a little more every day. Well, joining us today is a good friend, a rapper boy, and well, you know what? We'll learn a lot more about him through the course of the discussion. Shah Rule. What's up? Mr. Rahul Shani in the house, aka Shah Rule.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
I always say you have the most infectious energy in the entertainment industry in Bombay and all over India. I'm sure you spread smiles, with your selfies sweet, and everything. But you're a great energy to be around. That's why I saw your podcast. I wanted to be on it.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate the fact that you kind of wrote to me and you said really want to use this opportunity to add value, and that's what we're trying to do with this podcast 100%. As well. 100%. Bring in conversations and, just to deep dive into it, right?
Yeah.
We all know about the transformation you've had from the time where you've lived, where you grew up, the culture that you were raised in, and then think of coming to Bombay and start a whole career around here, right? Mm-hmm. And it comes with a lot of mindset training because when you're deep diving into uncertainties, it's not easy for one to just go for it, right? Yeah. It takes a lot of things to work around. So tell us about it, how has the whole journey been?
I think always when I'm faced with moving on in a new chapter in my life, especially with music, I always have to remind myself of why I love music and why, what's my favorite part of this whole process. Because we do so much, even for you, you're on stage, you're preparing at home, you're doing a lot. Yeah. For me, it's always been being on stage and also making music in the studio. So it's either the studio or the stage. And now all the things in between, there are things I love and there are things that, you have to do because it's part of the job. But I knew when I was in London, I was not only just studying and, gaining my skill set, but I was trying over there and I didn't see a long-term, achievability. I couldn't see it. And, with the support and guidance of my parents also, they also made me realize, you're Indian at the end of the day, and there's a huge entertainment industry at home. Yeah. And I'd never lived in India, but I'd always visited every year, and it was very surface level knowledge about what an amazing city Mumbai is. And after a few trips of spending a little bit more time, I'm older, I'm enjoying it, I'm meeting friends and stuff, and seeing that there's a little bit of a hip hop scene at the time at 2014, there was, artists coming out and stuff, and I could see ciphers online. And I think it was just a point where I realized that my music was not hitting where I wanted to in the UK, and I just made a decision. Like one failed album made me make that decision. Like I talk about it in my TEDx, but it was about just taking a leap of faith, and really when I moved to Mumbai, I made a decision like I'm not gonna half-ass it. Sorry for the, but like I'm gonna make crazy decisions to put myself out there and get out of my comfort zone. Like I'm not gonna stay within this comfort box because me moving here is already a big thing, and I want to, make the most out of it. If I'm leaving my life in the UK, I need to like build a life here. And I think it was the best decision I've ever made, making that decision. It was like a gut feeling that something great is going to come out of this.
Yeah.
And obviously no one has overnight success.
Yeah.
And I've still yet to, for me, I'm always chasing bigger and higher levels in my life. So I love the chase. I love the journey, and I think it's been a great journey so far, and I've learned a lot along the way, and met some cool people along the way.
Cheers, man.
And it's just at this point, like I love having these type of conversations because it makes me learn more about myself and about others. And this game of life is so, it's always changing. And in the last who knew this last 2 years was gonna come about like this, and how much we've developed, as humans, and compassionate for one another, and also it just in terms of like being aware of what's going on in our world. And I love these conversations because we can all grow from it, and we can learn more.
I think I totally believe, and I agree with you on the fact that it's always a learning process, because it's true that if you start thinking that you're a know-it-all, you kind of limit yourself to how much you can further grow from there, because you know it all. You don't want to experiment. You don't want to go beyond your comfort zones. You don't want to break the barriers or the boundaries or whatever it is, right? But when you're a learn it all, it's a very true sense of hustler spirit.
That's
right?
a nice learn it all.
Yeah, man. Because I always say I'm a learn it all.
Nice.
I think it's no matter how much you think you know so much, right?
You can learn something new.
There's still that one thing that you can still learn one day, right?
For sure.
And it's great, like how you said that that one failed album taught you so much more.
For sure.
And the importance of failure. So how do you say, like, what is your thought about failure? Like, what do you think about failure?
For me, it's how you look at it, right? Failure is how you react to it. And I feel failure will always come in some sort of form of when you're trying to do something new or reach a level of success. It's natural, there's no linear way to get to the top. It's always up, down, down, up, like that. So it's natural. And I feel like there's so much lessons that come with failure that you learn about yourself. You have to kind of build that courage to face adversity. And the most important thing is having gratitude for the things you have gained. Within a failure experience, there's always a learning lesson, and using that lesson as that gratitude point for that moment in your life. Because most of the time we overthink that moment, and maybe it's a few days or months or whatever, we look back and it's it's just there in the past, and it's just kind of like a war wound, And so for me, it is always a daily process of dealing with those things. But I know one thing I always do is I always like to see my progress. And I always, like the first time I started making beats, I wrote them down as day 1, day 2, and for a month, I got to see from day 30 to day 1 to day 30, the progress, the progress was insane. So for me, I get very restless in the moment and impatient when I want to do stuff, but I know that a year from now, if I'm in this same hungry state, I'm going to be 10 times better. So for me, if I'm at this point and I fail today, I know in a year from now I'm going to be way further in my journey than from where I am. So it's always a learning curve, and it's always what's next. Never I've got to. It's always what's next. It's got to be what's next, right?
Wow. I mean, I think like knowledge bombs literally dropping now. Suddenly we've got like Shah Rule, aka now it's like not Rahul Shani, aka Shah Rule. Now he's like Coach Rahul. We've got Coach Rahul in the house who's dropping some knowledge bombs. And I think, and it's so true, right? That was our goal with doing this podcast as well. Bringing people together and sharing in what it takes, right? As you said, it's a daily hustle. It's not that once you start growing, it's just like you go up and up. No. It's not a linear format. It's,
never.
It's a cyclical loop. You fall down, you got to rise up. After you rise up, you're bound to fall down at some point. what you can do is maybe not stop falling down, but get more equipped
to
the fall. You know, if you're falling down,
that's
you know.
That's a nice way to, more equipped to the
sure.
fall. Yeah.
And I think that's what resilience builds in, right? Like when you build resilience, how to build that resilience? Like what is your process? What have you done to keep yourself going?
I think it's all repetition, right? It's all practice. Even we before we turned the cameras on, we were speaking about performing, right?
Yeah.
And in London, from the beginning, I've always loved performing. I was always a shy kid, but you know, when I got on stage, it was like this alias came out, but it was actually like me able to, you know, express myself and be loud. And you know, I'm sure I've seen you on stage. I know that energy. So like that energy that I'm that I reserve, you know, in my daily life comes out on stage. So for me, there have been days where I perform for 2 people. You know, in pubs in London, I used to perform with a guitarist, just me and him. And there would be days where it was just 2 people in the audience and one person is, you know, throwing insults at me. And, you know, towards now that obviously I don't have great gigs all the time, you know, it's never amazing. But you learn how to face them because, you know, you've gone through so many and you have to understand it's a learning curve. You learn everything, even though I've been on stage since I was 13 and I'm 28 now. Like I love that I can go on stage and learn something new. And every crowd is different. And for me, I hate when just being labeled as a rapper. I am an entertainer. You know, for me, that entertaining is what I do. And if it's bringing joy through music, I have to do it in the best way possible and I have to bring the best energy. And it's always mirroring, you know, what you do on stage mirrors
the audience,
right? And no matter what, you're not going to please everyone in the audience. Just like with my songs, I'm not going to please everyone with my songs. But it is about overall giving your best. And I love that feeling of turning a crowd when they don't know who I am. Because I've done a lot of clubs and maybe there's 20 people there for me and the rest of the 100 or 200 is just there to have a good time and drink and, you know, enjoy their Friday night. I want to make sure that, okay, if they don't know who I am, they're going to love my gig. After I get off stage, they're going to try and buy me a shot, you know, and we can, you know, and
mission accomplished.
And in the future, if I'm back in the city, they want to come see me again, you know?
Wow. I think that's great about like a touring artist, right? It's like, we generally, as we grow, mature in life, we've realized the importance of building like stable foundations to automate a lot of other processes as well. And when I think of, you know, because I was a touring artist in my earlier life, touring as in like independently touring. I would go to places, perform on the street and like do all those kind of things. And I think what's great about that is it's constant. And as you said, the importance of repetitions.
For sure.
The more you do it, the better you get at it. And there's no doubt about that, right? There are techniques through how you can get better with every time you do it. That's a different part of the conversation anyways. But the importance of repetition. But how do you do that when you see that the world around you is shut shop, right? You gotta, like you are a hustler, but how do you what do you tell yourself the next day morning when the alarm rings? Or even before that? I always say the beginning of the day is not when you wake up, but before you go to sleep. Because if you want a head start, you want to know what you're doing tomorrow, right?
For sure.
If you know that there are 3 things that you want to do, now there is a purpose you've attached. Because I've noticed all those days where there was no purpose to wake up and do something, like maybe travel for gigs, or do whatever it is, right? Like shoot some content also maybe for that matter, or get on a call or some shit like that. When there was a purpose, I was more disciplined. You know, I was more of a better action taker than when there was no purpose attached to it. Then it was just the mood. There was no driving force which enabled me to go beyond how I felt to work towards something. Right? Sure. So then I said that, you know, repetition mantra works. You know, you wake up every day, do like 3 things to do that you want to do. But you don't do that next day morning when you wake up, but you do that a night before.
At the night before.
So what is your process? Like, because, you know, tell us from a London boy, right? Like a different culture altogether. And then you had to come to Bombay. And that was a choice that you made against a lot of maybe different wishes around you where you would have wanted to, you know, build it up in Europe. So how did it work for you? Like when before you came to Bombay, because as I said, your Bombay trip didn't begin when you landed in Bombay. I'm sure it did start way before that in terms of the whole things that had to be worked around. So you being a Bandra boy,
Yeah.
did you kind of think that it's going to be all like Bollywood and stuff?
No.
No?
You know what? I mean, I've visited India, like Bombay enough, Bandra especially.
Bandra boy.
Bandra represent. 4005050.
40050.
And you know, like I've always visited, and I've only just met my cousins and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's always just been family meets and stuff, which is great. But you know, that feeling of this is my city never really hit me until I moved here, and within a month I was like, wow, I love this city. Because I just what for me was, I guess I'm definitely an introvert, but I also have like this
crazy side.
extrovert like thing that comes out of me that I guess I really developed in India. And I think when I first moved here, I latched on to a few friends that I grew up with, like that also lived in Russia or London, and I met them a few times, and you know, they were all in their kind of day jobs and their corporate jobs and stuff. And for me, when I first moved here, my goal was Bollywood, so I came with demos like properly.
You were ready for it.
Like I came with masala demos, you know, like full.
Demos.
And I went to Excel. I went to a bunch of you know, production houses, huge ones. And you know, I pitched out my demos like through whatever, you know, connection my parents had, or you know, friend connections. And then quickly I realized, like, you know, this is not like, my heart wasn't in it. And I started one day, someone on Diwali day, I had moved into my to the place where I'm staying, and I got a call from a friend saying, hey, I'm in Bombay. You know, she was a singer from London, and she's like, I'm chilling at my sister's house, and we're just hanging out. It's Diwali, like, come over. And my mom had left that day. She, you know, she had helped me get settled, and I was like, should I go meet new people? Should I, you know, like, kind of, and I was like, come on.
This was
like,
the early days
this
after
was like the
relocation.
first week probably being here, and I don't know anyone. I just know this one person who's here from London, and she's a singer friend. So I went, and within like the first few hours, I started meeting so many people from the music industry that like I would not think that in an hour of getting out of my house, I'm already being introduced to someone who just signed Divine. You know, like that conversation was happening to me, and I had briefly saw a video of Divine before that, but like I was like, wow, I'm already meeting someone who's in the music space. Like this is great. I need to go out more often. So every opportunity, like every time a friend called saying, I'm going here, it's a music event, it's a gig, it's a whatever, I'm like, let's go. And I made it a rule, one of my rules, that
On my roots.
there was a book I read called The Game.
Okay.
Why am I not? Neil Strauss. So he's a famous author in the US, and he writes a lot of biographies for musicians and actors and stuff. So he did this book where he basically learned how to become a pickup artist in LA. And one of the techniques they learned was called peacocking.
Okay.
And it's
Wait, when you say pickup artists, like you pick up ladies?
Pick up girls.
Okay, all right.
So it's a very interesting book. It's a very interesting book because they pick up celebrities and stuff. It's almost like they were like teaching like lots of men, you know, how to also become confident. And before I moved to Bombay, I was not confident at all. I was like really just a very shy guy, but on stage I had that confidence. So I made this, the peacocking is basically where you wear or, you know, put something loud on yourself so that in a crowd you stand out.
You're the peacock in the crowd.
You're the peacock in the crowd. And right away people, you know, gravitate towards you. You know, like, you know, if you're wearing something colorful or a cool hat, someone is always going to say, dude, that's a cool hat. And it's a conversation starter or whatever. So for me, I always loved chains since a kid. It's
always there. I've always seen that.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm a Sindhi. You know, gold is part of our culture. I grew up seeing my nani and my mom and everyone wearing so much extravagance and everything. And also, I'm a huge fan of rap since a kid. So I grew up seeing 50 Cent with these giant chains and so many people, you know, like, it was just something that always flashed in my eyes, and I always wanted it. And I always used to like buy these fake chains on Oxford Street in London, or like try and find fake grills or all those things. When I was growing up, I used to wear that.
All sort of experimentation.
I used to wear that to school, and people would be like, "What is this?" You know. But like that was just the music I listened to, and it was like I immersed myself in that, you know, that feeling that you know, I wouldn't say it's like a bragging thing, but it made me feel like, you know, someone. Like it helped me. It made me feel like I was shining, which like in the literal sense and like a metaphorical sense. So my peacock moment in Bombay was every time I need to leave the house, I'm wearing some like crazy chains. I would go to Hill Road, buy like crazy chains that they would use for films and stuff like that. These, you know, and like $500, that type of thing. And I used to wear chains all the time, and I used to wear a cap as well. So like the cap and the chains became my thing, like to get people's attentions. Because like there were rappers in the city, but I would go to everywhere, like the cool bars in Bandra, and just walk in and kind of like, you know, get people's attention and go straight to the DJ and be like, "What's up, man?" Like, you know, I'd love to jump on the mic. It was just my thing. Like every bar I used to go to, every club, my aim was find out who the manager is, find out who the DJ is, kind of slip in a conversation. There was Trilogy, which I'm sure we met many times at every Wednesday. There was hip hop nights. I would wait till the DJ would go to the bathroom. I'd pretend to go to the bathroom, be like, "Yo, what's up, man? Nice song. Bro, I'd love to, like, I'll kill it if you know, let me jump on the mic." The more times I did it, somehow, you know, we became friends and stuff, you know, and I ended up working with a lot of those DJs that, you know, I was just chasing. And I think that came from small wins of like feeling like the first time I performed, it was on a rooftop in Bombay, like a friend's rooftop. But that feeling of, wow, I got a gig, you know, like, and it felt better than any gig I did in London. And then I was just like, wow, I heard there's an opportunity here. Let me do it. You know, like, come MC with me with this DJ at Social. Oh my God, I'm performing at Social. Okay, I'm performing at Car Social now. I'm performing here. Like, and I'm like, wow, in a year I've like covered almost everywhere in Bandra. Wow, you know, like I've covered all these great venues in Bandra, and like just, you know, building off that momentum and kind of, you know, allowing you to accept those small wins as small steps, and just, you know, fuming it with that feeling of, wow, I'm getting somewhere. And I think those little things, like, you know, to boost my confidence, like no one was wearing extravagant chains like that. I wish I could have a conversation with Bapi Larry. I'm manifesting it. I'm gonna speak to so I can understand.
Shout out to Bapi Da.
Shout out to Bapi Da. And I think, you know, it is a fashion statement. I like, you know, you also are a colorful guy, and you can see it on your, you know, on your smile and your clothes, you know. So for me, it's always been that as well. And it's just about people love to shine, and I love to shine. That's it.
Special shout out to Neil Strauss.
Yes.
Peacocking technique is here. We're the Engage and Inspire podcast. Hopefully this helps a lot of people who want to take action. For some reason they are a little, you know, whatever inhibitions. The peacock technique can be impactful. Here is a live example of that.
For sure.
Just stick to it. Stick to it. That's the point. Consistency. Wow, such important things that you just said, right? Like through the journey that you passed through. From that to then Gully Gang, dude.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, it's been great. You know, like I met Divine at one of these hip hop nights at iBar in Bandra, Thursday weekly nights. When I first walked into the first hip hop night in Mumbai, where I also met you, through one of these hip hop nights, I totally said, I am not pitching any more demos to any Bollywood thing. I'm gonna do this. I can see that people are here for hip hop weekly. People come out, get away from their jobs just to come on and dance and enjoy hip hop music. And I was like, I never witnessed that weekly thing. And it was, for me, it was like, I'm just trying to immerse myself in this whole community and try and grow somehow within the community. So I met Divine at one of these nights, and it started as a friendship, over the years, like staying connected and seeing each other at hip hop nights, and a few times meeting each other at a studio, listening to music and stuff. And just, I've been a fan of his career. He's such a talented guy, and there's a level of quality that comes from Divine and what he stands for. And I super grateful to have been a part of his recent era of his career. And when in 2019 he and the business head of Gully Gang, they approached me saying, we'd love to have you on board. We're starting something. We had done a few gigs with them, and Mean Devil, like another Mumbai rapper, and just guy, like so many rappers that I met along the way, even for Gully Boy and stuff. But we had done a few gigs with Divine, and I got a first big exposure of like 3,000 to 5,000 people in front of me, like that type of thing. So, and then we started Gully Gang, and it was just different releases and stuff, and it's been great. Like the one thing that I've always said, I've said it a few times here, but the live aspect of my career is the most important, and I've gotten to perform in front of so many different types of audiences within India, and numbers, and just it's been super fun and super a learning experience, and it's like I feel like my purpose is it's fulfilling when you're going in the right direction, and you're gaining out of it, both on a learning level, and also of course making money, and that is all very much important, and especially like money is what's gonna let you live basically.
True that.
But the fact that I'm doing something I love is a blessing, and that I'm getting paid for it is amazing. So seeing that from 2015 when I moved here, and then the first like year of gigs of like doing free, and then like to 2,000 rupees to 5,000 to 10,000, that journey
progression,
to then to joining Gully Gang, and seeing that that first block of me being in Mumbai and hustling it out, and man, it's I think for any a lot of young guys ask us how did you get there, what's the best way, do I need a manager? I think you have to try everything yourself. You have to be your own manager, you have to be your own video editor, you have to you have to do everything, because once you have a team and you're the leader, who's gonna like if you know how to do every job, then what's that every person is doing the best job. The best of their ability. And I'm trying to be not less of a micromanager, but at the same time, I love being creative in multiple ways.
Involved in
like in
various
in the video editing process, the the production side, the engineering side, everything, the creative side, when we put out songs and make artwork, it's all, I want to be a part of every process, because like I love it all, and it's all towards my art, which is important to me. So
that's great. I mean, it's true, you're right. Motivation in itself, motivation can be the jet fuel for a plane, but a plane without a pilot is of no use. And just like that, we can be motivated to want to do whatever we want to do in life. We might feel like all charged up because, we're in the information era. Just anything is just a swipe away or a press or a click away, right? But the real key is to take action. The real key is for you to get out of your bed and make those things happen, because you can have great ideas. You might know the tricks to make things happen, but if you don't do it, right? That's where you have to start. And as you said, the importance of being the master of minor achievements. Because it's only like building up like that. When you do day 1 to day 30, suddenly you realize that at day 30 you have more confidence to do the same.
100%.
You've got better at it, from a mindset perspective, skill set perspective. And as you said, when you came your early days of literally hustling it out, I think hustle is a lifelong process. I look at it.
It never stops. It never stops.
Right. And it's great to kind of know that story, because, on that note, I want to give a special shout out to Mrs. Anju Shahani.
Yes.
Mama Bear in the house. She's a laughter yoga specialist. She's a happiness coach. She's a great mom, an amazing partner.
She is.
And all of that put together. So how has her influence been on your life? Can you take your problems to her? She's like, come on,
100%.
Rahul.
No.
Yeah?
She's the first person. Like she was my first manager. She's my momager, right?
Oh,
So
wow.
like from the early days, like she's when I wrote my first rap on the way home from school, I went to her straight. I was like, Mom, I wrote this rap, and she's like, I know a R&B singer, and why don't you just speak to her and just learn from her a little bit. So she's always guided me.
Pushed you to make things happen.
Yeah, my dad is more of a creative and a business mind, so he's guided me in sense of certain direction. But my mom has a great EQ, and her emotional side, I guess for me, is like a good balance of the business side and I need that, the emotional. I think the most important thing with my journey, it's always been through connections and making connections and making them friendships.
Wow.
And she's taught me that she's such a great example of someone who can go into a room and light it up and become friends with everyone. And that was like kind of what stuck in my head, and knowing that whenever I have to make a decision, it's always about like thinking with your emotional thinking emotionally first, and understanding what are the relationships at stake, what are the friendships at stake, what is that person thinking, what is that person's intention, what is my intention here, and she's a laughter coach, a laughter leader, and she laughter is something that is so embedded in my life, because I think I'm whether it's just me joking around or watching stand up or whatever, it's a mood booster, and it really changes your perspective. Laughter and music is something. So she's a great example for me, and whenever there's like a problem and I need just that emotional advice, and she has a very good intuition, so right away she'll give me her thoughts, her perspective, and I'll take it and kind of channel it against my intuition and make a decision or whatever.
I mean, mommies, man, I tell you, like, dude,
super
they're just heavenly.
Yeah.
And no matter, everybody has their own flaws. The ability to how they kind of show their strength to us at various times, 100%. To be able to forgive, right? I think that's biggest level of strength that one can achieve. Because, when somebody does something to us, it does feel bad. It does, especially if it's someone who is close to you. Yeah. And then, to forgetting is not something that one should do. I always say that, because why should you forget? Because you learn through that.
For sure.
Your heartbreaks, your failures. I mean, you spoke about how your album failure kind of helped you become who you are today. Yeah. And I always say I always talk about this kind of conversation, that imagine a day you woke up, you opened your window, and then, the sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the wind is blowing, and it's the perfect day, you feel all charged up. And then there are those days you open up and then, it's a gloomy day. It's not all of that. Yeah. But if we're going to let our power to be dependent on the gloomy day or the powerful day, then we are giving away the power of what we are blessed with. Because, we're not trees, right? We can move. We can make things move as well. Yeah. And that's our ability. When we let it on like external factors only, I feel you're just kind of stopping yourself from being able to achieve your highest potential.
For sure.
And but having said that, it's very hard to say this also, the fact that how the pandemic has had an impact on us. How much ever we talk about wanting to stay motivated, stay positive, be an action taker in life,
it's not been easy.
When you're put in a box, right, and that's all, and you're limited to a lot of things, you're told to do a lot of things. I think here's what it is. Imagine if you weren't told not to do it, would you feel as much as pain to stay at home versus being told that now you can't get outside your house and having to stay, right? Yeah. And it's great, man. I love the fact that, tell me about this. This is so exciting. We spoke about Gully Gang, Gully Boy. What about the whole Bollywood phenomenon? You've opened for artists, you've traveled around. Yeah. Tell us about that. What have you learned from some of those guys?
I was grateful to be able to, I went to Goa, for a few months just to like get away, and I brought my studio there, took a small place, and just wanted to.
I remember seeing that picture of yours.
My
setup.
So like I honestly would not have left Bombay for a few months if it wasn't for like me being able to get my studio there, because like for me, I'm always working. I hate, like, even if I ever go on a holiday, which is very rare, the first day is like where would I need to do? I'm like on my phone writing something or whatever. But
Yeah.
like it's very hard for me just to like take days off or whatever. But Raftar was also, in Goa at the same time and very close, to where I was. So Raftar's always been like a mentor and like such a humble guy, such a great guy. And, I'm constantly, whenever I'm around him, I'm constantly learning. And, if it's in the studio or just in general, he's got so much wisdom when it comes to what I'm doing, what we do, as a hip hop artist in India. Finding your identity, dealing with certain things. So for me, it's always been how I've seen my growth is I've always had these mentors, which like it's not like I need to find another mentor. It just naturally is happening in my journey that I'm finding someone who's ahead of me and who has this bank of experience that I have the pleasure of and the blessing to be around, and being around people like who've seen a lot of fame and stuff and seen success. The best thing is to see how they how they've dealt with it and where they are in their life and what's important to them, because no matter what, like I'm not at some A-level celebrity thing or whatever, but whatever fame that I've seen, and I tend to focus on that the fact that I'm affecting people's lives. If I get a message on Instagram and it's like a sincere message about someone was just messaging me yesterday about mixing, and he said why don't you mix for more artists? And because in India, the lineage of how you become a mixing engineer, you have to go intern at a studio and be a T-boy first, right? That's how it is. In London, it's like a different thing. You can have an entry-level job, that type of thing. So for me, mixing took a back role. I do mix my own songs, but not like for other people. So he asked, why don't you mix for more people? I said, they can't afford it. Because in London, I used to charge this much.
Yeah.
And now I don't want to, and when I mix, I put in my full energy. It's like minimum 3 hours I'm sitting on a song, at one time. So it's like, I do it with artists that I really love and that I'm working with, just out of my heart, and but it's been very rare that I'm charging someone, because like that minimum I don't want to go below that, because I know how much time I put in it and it has value. So he said, if you're charging anywhere under $1 lakh, you need to make it higher, because you deserve it. And he said something like that, and it just like it just and he told me, I've saved your screenshot when you answered a question about your favorite plugins or whatever. So I was like, wow, if and I told him, I've got a course coming up where I'm teaching this. He says, I'm definitely there, and I'm definitely coming to learn. So just those the fact that we have these tools, that fans can directly message us and interact with us, and now there's things like Clubhouse, we can speak to them, everything like that. It's so great when you see other creatives coming and appreciating the same way I've messaged tons of people, and you have as well. We message each other. It's all like we're all humans on the same kind of like playing field, just trying to find our way, find our purpose, find our dream, our success, fulfill that dream. So for me, I'm not looking at if someone is appreciating what I'm doing, I want to give that love back and be like, I appreciate you giving me this, that feels special to me. And now when I do what I do, I know that there's someone, that values this, It may not be like 1 million people right now, but that, core amount of people who are sending me these daily messages. Like when I was in the hospital, like there was this one guy who just twice a day he would send me a message, sweet. And I've never met him, not followed him like that, but he's constantly sharing my music. But every day he was messaging me until I was home, and then after 2 days he would message me. Like it was, it was. It's emotional when you put so much effort into what you do in your art, and you see that reciprocation is amazing. Because I remember when there wasn't 10 likes on my whatever or the actual, but there wasn't people commenting or anything or messaging or tagging or whatever. So that, these things, likes and stuff and views and stuff, they're just variables or whatever that change, that. but the human connections, coming back to
Yeah.
that, is even if it's someone that I'm not gonna have a friendship with, it's just or every interaction stays with me.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like when I released Kaun Hai Tu, like, which was a big song for me. I had a gig in Dubai, and it was like 2 weeks after I released the song.
Yeah.
And I was walking through Dubai Mall with my DJ Proof, and suddenly some guy started chasing us up an escalator.
Oh, really?
And he's like, Shah Rule, I love Kaun Hai Tu. And
Oh, wow.
I'm like shocked,
Wow.
because I've not had this in Dubai, you know,
Yeah.
and he starts jumping the way I'm jumping in my
Yeah, yeah.
in that I did on MTV Hustle, and I was just blown away. I was like, for me, it was that first, like, wow, you know, my motto is rule worldwide. So for me, it's always about you know, affecting people anywhere and everywhere.
Yeah,
And I, even though I've not you know, most rappers, most people say hip hop, you have to come from struggle, you have to come from the bottom or whatever. But I know the way I've seen the world, and the world is not like some complicated place. It's made up of the same things we do every day, friendships, relationships, careers, this, that, struggle, all that.
Yeah.
It's everywhere and everywhere. You know, like in every city you have that, and I've seen that in different countries. So for me, I feel like I'm blessed with this different perspective of multiple countries.
Yeah.
And for me, love is one thing that I've always talked about. So love is like, for me, spreading love, but also talking about the intricacies of love, because it's never positive. I mean, it's never always you're happy in love and, you know, all that. Sorry, I'm like rambling on right now.
No, I think it's
I'm
great, man.
engaging and inspiring, you know.
No,
I'm in the,
I think very value packed conversation, and you're right that, you know, as an artist, there is one thing about how we feel, and we were just having a discussion about this a while ago, and just for the audience,
Yeah.
right? The fact that we feel amazing when we are on stage, when we are able to do all those things, which maybe, you know, we don't do that on an everyday life or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But the fact that it's not just about that, it's about, you know, somebody in the audience who's going through some tough time. Maybe
Yeah.
they have lost someone, or they are going through a breakup or some financial crunch.
Yeah.
But we let them, we enable them to be in the present, to enjoy, be the music, and as you said, it's not just about, you're not a rapper, you're an entertainer. You're not just rapping on stage, or you're not just rapping through the mic into like studio sessions or whatever.
Yeah.
You're literally entertaining people.
For sure.
Entertainment is one of those things that lets you, as you said, music makes you feel good, and, you know, feel good hormones, because you're able to be in a present moment awareness stage of mind, like state of mind. And it's about that. As an artist, as an entertainer, as a creator, as a coach, as a consultant, all of us, we are actually adding value in people's lives. That's what the real deal is. That's why people, organizations, companies, brands invest into us. It's not just to just show off our skill sets, because that's how I used to look at it when I was, a while ago.
Yeah. Same thing. I think in London, I was rapping just to show that I could rap. Like, I'm going to do this type of flow, blah, 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 and just say nothing. I was saying nothing, honestly. I was just rhyming words and looking at the dictionary. Oh, what's a synonym for, what's a crazier word instead of courage? What's a crazier word instead of water? You know, like just the dumbest things.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, sorry, continue. I was
I'm completely with you, and that's right. But, you know, what do you have to say about for the upcoming breed, right? Who have to go through, maybe that's the entry point to this journey of eventually able to whatever you're able to evolve into.
Yeah.
It's that synonym for that word, or that crazier term for whatever you want to make it, and then get the flow, get the, you know, follow some style or whatever.
Yeah.
So 2 things just specific to that. What would you like to tell the youngsters? Also, because of the fact that they get highly impacted, influenced by the whole culture and the people who are right now heading the movement, right? There is also a lot of beef going on. So what's your thought on the beef culture, which I think we were not aware of as a country, because Sonu Nigam and Shan never had issues between each other. They were brothers, right? So now here we have this whole Western idea coming in. There is more importance of what I think and your shit, or not necessarily in that sense, but just that whole beef culture. What do you have to say about the beef culture in India, in the hip hop scene?
I think I got into hip hop because of the competitive nature. For me, I was never great at sports. I liked tennis, but I wasn't like amazing at it. But for me, I heard some kids on a school bus rap, and I was ignited. Like, I love rap, and these guys are horrible. That was my first thought. They're horrible, and I'm gonna write my first rap on the way home from school. You know, like
Wow.
So like, hip hop stems from like that competitive nature. You know, people wanted in low income neighborhoods in New York, battles used to happen because instead of resorting to violence, battle it out with your words. And hip hop was always about turning something negative in a positive. And for me, I found this voice through rapping. And I feel like today what happens is it's natural for like sport is competitive. Hip hop is it is in many ways a sport. Because you're working on your craft, which is like you're in the gym. Sports reference. You're in the gym doing your thing. You're working on your penmanship. You're working in the studio every day. You put it out to people. That's your games or whatever like that. And they are spectators and they are opponents, right? And it doesn't have to be that it's like, oh, this is beef that like has to be personal. It does get personal sometimes, which is natural. But at the end of the day, I think we've seen great songs come out of beefs in time. Like there's many that I listen to from Western hip hop and Indian hip hop as well. But it's a way of battling out through art form. Like like if you think about going back to like gladiator days or whatever, there's always some sort of like competitive nature within entertainment as well, right? Within entertainment, people thrive off of competitive nature, and when it turns like a little bit like when it gets intense, people the news loves that, and the fans like it. When we've seen in Indian hip hop that it can get toxic, but I don't think I'm not sure what what's everyone's limit. Everyone has a different thing. If you push someone's button in the wrong way, then you don't know how they're gonna react. I know I can write to diss anyone. I've tried it a few times, but it's just not like me. I know how everyone. I think every rapper knows how to sneak in some subliminals here and there, and I've done it or whatever. But like, it's not really me. I'm an entertainer. Like I like making music for people to enjoy, whether it's at or just like take value from, whether it's in the gym, in the car, or whatever. But I think it shows that beef culture in India shows that people are hungry. And people are like trying to get to the top and trying to be number one. I say this all the time, if you don't come in the game thinking you're number one, then what are you doing in hip hop? That's the truth. Like if obviously I'm not even gonna say obviously Eminem is better, whatever, but like if you don't believe it that you're the best at what you do, then you're setting yourself on in the wrong like community, to be honest. Because it's like, obviously don't be like have an ego the size of like Mars, but believe in yourself. Believe in your pen. Like I'm the best at how I do my thing. This is I embody this. What I'm doing, and I think for any rapper coming up, it's not that I wanna diss that guy the best. It's not. It's like, how can I be the best version of myself? How can I be the best? Why not aim for the best rapper and then maybe end up in the top 10 or whatever? Why not aim for the stars and land on the moon or whatever? You know what I mean? Those type of things of aiming so high that you reach somewhere. And that whole negative side to beefs, it happens, right? It's natural. Like and it's people's livelihoods at stake, right? If there's been beefs in the US where someone's careers have gone down because of beefs, right? So many
lives have been lost.
Lives. Like icons have been lost, right? And inshallah, nothing ever gets like that in our in India, and it's horrible that it still happens in the US. And it's not even like yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, we're all artists.
Yeah.
You know, when a beef arises and stuff, it's kind of claiming your ground. You know,
Yeah,
in the if you I mean, I've recently I don't even want to. I'm not even gonna say it, but I'm not gonna shed light on it. Anyways, I've got people in my comments. I've got people tagging me and stuff, negative stuff, whatever. But it's how you know,
Look at it.
Look at it, and even am I gonna give my attention to this right now when I'm doing so much? When I've got shit on my when I've got real things on my plate and like money to get and opportunities, people to meet. Why do I need to give my turn this 5 minutes of looking at it to an hour or a whole day worth of? You know, it's all perspective, and if it's not gonna like change your life or if it's not gonna do something, it then. Brush it out and move on.
Yo. And it's true, right? I mean, where the attention goes, the energy flows. So the more you're going to feed off on those things, the more you're going to be engaged in those thoughts.
You are rhyming right now.
Oh, wow.
Spitting bars.
Yes. Wow, I like that, man. I think that's the energy that you're kind of bringing in.
I appreciate that.
So, bro, I mean, you know, great chat. I love the fact that how you kind of told about the transition from moving from places and what it took for you. And how, you know, the hip hop scene is evolving right now.
Yeah.
And the fact that you're right. I mean, the beef culture shows that the kind of impact hip hop is able to have on people and the amount of people. So there is a hungry crowd. There is an industry to burst out. We see how Bollywood is hip hopized now, if that's what I would say.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think in a way, hip hop existed in Bollywood like a very commercial sound of hip hop.
It was just a 10-second part, quick rap, throw it in there.
Throw it in there. But now you literally see the whole transition happening
fully.
But you know, just a thought out of the box. You know, Rock On came in. There was this whole rock scene that came through. Okay, we saw the whole thing going up. There was a new era of rock bands coming in.
Sure.
We saw the fusion of rock coming in with
and
classical Indian and this, that, and all sorts of jam. And we're seeing that transition happening in the whole hip hop phase as well, in terms of how the community is building, people are coming together, there are more opportunities. What do you think is the future of hip hop in India? Like, how do you see that growing, or do you see, or what should it do to grow?
I think we need the hip hop community and the artists. It needs its own massive festival, like on a NH7 scale, on a VH1 Supersonic, on a Sunburn scale. You know, Sunburn is home to like a EDM, but I mean that's so many genres under EDM, right?
Electronic music,
it's electronic music. There's so many genres. Hip hop needs Indian hip hop needs, you know, that big
push.
showcase, that big showcase. Like there's brand money pouring into
hip hop,
huge artists, and you know the brand songs every day. And there's already so much going on, but it needs that massive, you know, place, a yearly thing or like a quarterly thing where, you know, there's so many fans that are, you know, and the number is getting bigger every day. So I think that's a huge thing. Secondly, I think it's also about ownership. Every artist is now building, and they're pushing out, you know, their YouTube channels, their Instagrams, whatever. They're streaming, you know, their presence on digital streaming platforms are growing because the fans are growing as well, and it's been easier this is like probably the first, like the most accessible time in ever to connect with a fan. You know, you've got Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Clubhouse, Discord, this, like Twitch, I can keep going, right? Whatever, you know, you can find a fan on any of these things. You know, if you put out that content and you do it consistently, you will gain some sort of, you know, if you're doing good work. I think it always starts with good work, right? You know, like whatever you're doing, like you say, does it bring value to people? So for me, I think if the content that's coming out of India is always progressing. Videos are getting better. Raps are getting better. Songwriting, which is very important, because what we do is also, it's a business at the end of the day. There are plenty of guys who just make music for fun, but also it is a business. So there is also some, level of planning and strategizing that goes on behind all our music. It may not be in the studio, but it's comes after. I think music is like 15% of the job. Like honestly, like 20, maybe let's say 20%. Okay, making the product is 20% of the job. The execution is 80%. The execution is everything. So within music, you know how a lot of people say, "Oh, I don't like the top 40. It's just like a bunch of cringe, whatever like that." Those guys are the biggest hustlers. The guys who are in the top 5 are the biggest hustlers. And it's not only that they're hustlers. If it's in a top 40 chart, pop chart, pop is short for popular. It's popular for a reason. It may not be popular to you. It may not, sit well with you, but it's popular to someone. So I always appreciate all types of popular music. I grew up on pop, whether it was listening to Jennifer Lopez because my sister, or Pink, or, Beyonce, whoever that my sister listened to, because she was like the tastemaker of, oh, listen to this, listen to Bob Sinclair, listen to, whoever. So I've always liked that music can, apply to anyone, whether... Michael Jackson was like a huge inspiration for me, like as a kid, and he was someone who spread so much positivity, and for me, music is that medium, to spread that positivity, change lives, change someone's mood for that, 3 minutes, whether I'm on stage for 20 minutes or an hour, I can change someone's perspective, who was just like chilling in the club drinking, but like damn, like now the vibe is on. So I think even when it comes to live, just going out with a DJ today and performing is not enough. There has to be some theatrics to it. Like if you see how the US, like rappers, established rappers, go out with like crazy stages, dancers, this, that, like the bands they have, it is a show. We're not just rappers. There's so much to what we say that can be elevated, right? So I think rappers around India today should just think of, how do I get bigger and how do I get more creative? Because like if there are like today there's 1,000 rappers, maybe there's like in 2 years there's gonna be like 10,000
rappers.
You know what I mean? And I'm sure the number's way bigger. I'm sure the number's way bigger.
100%.
But how am I gonna stand out? You know what I mean?
What is gonna be your peacock technique there,
bro? 5 years ago, when I used to go to the hip hop nights, there were a lot of people wearing caps, but not many people wearing chains. You know what I mean? And I started seeing guys at Social and Rasta and these local places we all hang out at. And whenever someone would buy a chain, like a friend or whatever, they'd come and show me first, and I'll be like, damn, wow, sick, like, and we talk like, where'd you get it?
The validator.
Not even, I wouldn't say that, because jewelry is jewelry.
I mean, for sure, man.
But like, I love that, I can connect with someone on that, that thing that we both enjoy, and it is like jewelry has been a part of hip hop, like for
forever.
decades. Back in the day, Run DMC with these big rope chains and stuff. There's a documentary that just came out. I need to watch it. But like little things, we were just having a conversation, Gully Gang and Apple Music, where it's like right now there's a lot of artists, just it's a one-dimensional thing of music, videos, and the fans are interacting with us on social media and stuff, but there needs to be an ecosystem around this whole thing, where there's like journalists, there's guys like you who are creating conversations, getting artists like us to spit it all out, so that new guys can come in and do stuff. And then there's also like for me, my favorite talk shows are like Breakfast Club, Hot 97 in the US, where they just get hip hop artists on, and they speak their their minds and what's going on in their lives. So like for me, I love to see, just like I'm doing this right now, I love to see other artists talk about their thing, because if I'm at a concert, I'd rather hear my favorite artist talk rather than just
sing and
and
perform
what I can hear on my iPod anyways.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So yeah, I think it's all about progression. It's all about elevation and everyone just pushing boundaries because the sky is the limit. I mean, it's further than that. So yeah.
So this is what we're gonna get is what we call as the rapid fire round. Are you ready to face the heat?
Let's go.
Let's go. All right. So I'm going to ask you some like this or that. You got to choose between them. Okay. So your recent celebrity crush.
I'm not going to make it crush, but someone I've recently started looking up to is Jay Shetty.
Oh, wow. Yes.
And I, in fact, watching his podcast and I saw yours and I was like, I want to be on your podcast,
Oh my God.
So like,
yeah, this is the moment.
I think Jay Shetty is like, and he's, he's someone from, from our subcontinent and doing great things over there. So like, I think like, he's so positive and I love all his conversations and he's had great conversations. So.
Yeah, I mean, one of our, we aspire to be able to create that level of impact as much as, because I'm one of those guys, let's say celebrity crush, Jay Shetty for sure. Jay Shetty, celebrity crush, 2 homies in the house. So your favorite sport?
Football.
Football?
Yeah.
Your favorite board game? Are you a board game guy?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Your favorite board
Chess.
game? Chess?
Chess.
Oh,
wow.
The king.
It's
man.
like one step at a time.
Yeah.
Like that type of metaphor, like.
Oh, wow, man. That's great. Your favorite Indian hip hop artist?
I'll say Divine. I think, his music is it's just like a different feeling. I think maybe obviously it's like a bias, like being part of Gully Gang, but I think when his music comes on in the club and you see, and I remember Kaam Pache Se when it came out that summer, being in the clubs and hearing that song, it was like wow.
Yeah.
And now I can't wait to go back. Go to the clubs and hear like the new album and stuff. So yeah, Divine definitely is.
So if you had to choose between one superpower, the ability to fly or the ability to be invisible, what would you choose?
Fly.
Fly?
Yeah. Why be invisible?
Why be invisible?
Yeah.
Fair
If
enough.
you can fly anywhere.
Okay, so are you a cartoon, like, do you like cartoon movies, cartoon? What's your favorite Disney character?
Ooh. So funny that you mentioned this. I'll tell you off camera why it's funny, but because I can't say it yet. But Aladdin.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think Aladdin is like also that, that story of going from nothing to something and appreciating at the end of it, whatever's a facade and what's real and all that.
Yeah.
And also the music of that.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like an iconic film for like so many 90s kids.
90s
like,
kids,
it's everything, the characters, Robin Williams playing Genie and all that. Rest in peace. But yeah.
Yeah. What's your guilty pleasure?
I've loved TV shows since like I was a kid. My email was TV_guy_3.
Oh, really?
For the longest time.
You were the TV guy?
I was a TV guy. And for me, like, I guess rewatching TV shows and like that really bring back that, that time and place where I was. And also knowing like that similar shows were around that time and I didn't watch those. And now recently I watched Walking Dead for the first time and it just blew my mind. It's such a great show. But like I love the shows that came out in the 2000s era. So like for me, unwinding is watching like a show from that era, like Lost or Prison Break or any of those, or like The OC, One Tree Hill, like those high school ones. Those are like my
guilty pleasures.
Yeah, high school movies, like American Pie and stuff. I used to love those.
Yeah, man.
Those like crazy wild movies, college movies and stuff like that. Yeah.
So something from the past that you wish you could change or you could redo?
No, I don't think. I think life is about learning from everything, and it's like maybe like buying Bitcoin earlier, but
man,
like a little bit earlier, but or like a lot earlier, but no.
And maybe some Tesla shares as well.
Yeah. No, I mean
either.
Yeah. I'm sure even betting on certain games to win if I knew, but no. But like Bitcoin,
Bitcoin, Shout out to Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So imagine, okay, what if you had an opportunity to become an animal for a day? What would it be?
Lion.
All right. You want to be the jungle ka Raja?
Yeah. Just,
all right.
Be the boss.
Be the boss.
Yeah.
So, one day we're all going to get old. As a grandparent or grandfather, what are you going to tell your grandchildren?
like really live life, like not think about, oh, I'm this age. Stop thinking in terms of your age and do like what you want to do. And like literally whatever scares you, you should really go and like face that fear.
Wow.
Because you don't know what's behind that door. If it's like, it's not a monster, it's like just a stupid clown that you can, you know, tick off your list of fears. But yeah, like there are a lot of things that, you know, we build up in our head and it limits us. So I think to tell anyone, like my own grandkids or whatever, that, you know, don't look at fears as you know, limits in your on your journey.
Yeah.
Like they're just kind of like stops on your journey
Wow.
that you've got to like kind of just go pass it, just
Feel
pass
it.
it. Just find a way to pass it. And
Yeah.
the one thing that I love Kanye West, the one thing he always says is, when you face a roadblock, the amount of time you probably spend talking about that roadblock is the amount of time you could probably pass that roadblock. And like worrying about that roadblock for like, you know, like it's about, you know, okay, a problem comes up, how do we fix it?
Yeah.
How do I get past this?
Wow.
The moment you start asking that question, 3 things pop up in your head already. Which is achievable? Okay, which is close to being achievable? Can I get even this much close to it? And then even getting that much close to it, you're like, damn, I'm already like a little bit less scared. Let me push more. Let me do this. And for me, I've seen that the smallest, I talk about this in my TEDx, that, you know, stepping out of your comfort zone can bring so much. And I used to like, even if I get a hint of, oh, something is going, I'm like, yes, let me come. Wherever it is. And I get lazy sometimes and I have to revamp my thing of, it's out of my, I don't want to go there. But like anything can really, you know, bring an opportunity. And if it's definitely out of your comfort zone, you should just try it. Because, you know, what are you going to lose? Time? Where, you know, we have time always, and we can make more time, you know, with certain changes in our life. But make the most out of your life, and, you know, stop building these fears up. It's all in your head, you know, like there's nothing, there's no way else to say it, you know. Yeah.
Wow, fantastic. Yeah, kya baat hai. I think you're already ready to be a grandfather. Where you have that grandfather elderly
I'm an old
wisdom
soul, for sure.
But hey, thanks, man. You know, it was
you, Clint.
amazing talking to you.
I think what you're doing is amazing, and you always spread positivity, which is needed, especially right now. And like, big up to you, respect to you, and I will carry your engage and inspire torch. I've started vlogging.
Please.
And, you know, I'm that same energy I'm gonna remember and keep in my vlogs and all that.
Perfect. So, you know, thank you very much, Shah Rukh. It was amazing. Thanks
you,
for the
brother.
kind words.
Thank you.
People can follow you on Instagram, Facebook,
YouTube, Facebook. Shah Rule Music on Instagram. That's it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Feel free to stay connected on Clubhouse as well.
Yes,
you can go one-on-one.
For sure.
So fantastic. And there is so much of knowledge and wisdom that there is for you to share.
Yes.
And we're super excited about the course as well. You want to just like plug in the course for sure?
I have a 10-week course all about vocals, hip-hop vocals, from, you know, understanding how to, you know, manipulate your voice to a certain beat, to the mixing and, you know, final process. So that's it, you know, just hoping to share my, you know, my experience and wisdom on this specific topic, and, you know, like help vocalists and rappers, you know, find their way and find their voice, you know.
Wow. Where can they find it?
On Front Row.
Front Row.
It's a teaching app, and I think on Instagram it's Get Front Row. Okay. And their website should be there, and the app, you can download the app and everything is there. And Gully Gang has already done a course. We've done a course where on everything in hip hop. So everything from the music business to the performing side to Divine speaks, Altaf, The Evil, a bunch of artists are speaking, producers as well. JD is talking about videos. So you get like a full full spectrum. You know, mine is now is a little bit focused, and it's also gonna be interactive. So it's live sessions, and you get homework. I'm giving them homework. I'm reading the looking at their raps and helping them and fixing it and stuff. So it's going to be fun.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Perfect. So front row it is.
Yes.
And that was amazing talking to you. With that, we come to the end of another exciting, action-packed conversation. And we definitely believe that you enjoyed watching this video or listening to the audio podcast. And if you think this can add some value in your friends and family's lives, please go ahead, share this video or share this audio clip, and let's make this world a sustainably happier place to live in. Well, in the meanwhile, you guys keep smiling, keep spreading smiles, and stay happy. I'm going to see you in the next episode. Bye.